WHPC.
Welcome to My Hometown, the program that explores clubs, organizations, businesses, and issues across Nassau and Suffolk counties and sheds light on the different towns that are making a difference.
A great day to you, and welcome to another edition of My Hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm your host, Bill Horan, along with Nassau Community College student Zach Turkel. Our special guest today is Jennifer Cona, managing partner of the elder law and estate planning firm of Genser, Dubois, Genser, and Cona, located in Melville, Long Island. Ms. Cona assists seniors and their families with the preservation of assets, Medicaid planning, estate planning, wealth transfer strategies, estate litigation, guardianships, and disability planning. She also assists clients with planning for long-term care needs, including home care, assisted living, and nursing home care. Ms. Cona is a frequent lecturer on the elder law and estate planning topics and has been featured in both local and national media. She will be speaking today about aging on Long Island and some of the common pitfalls to avoid when planning for your future. Jennifer, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
I'm a perfect example of aging on Long Island. I've been aging here for about 70 years, so we really need your help.
You don't have to worry about me, Jennifer. Yeah.
He's the opposite.
Right.
He won't be aging for another 40 years.
Right.
Well, you both look pretty good to me, so you're doing
well,
something
thank
right.
you.
Thank
You're saying
you.
all the right things. Now, Jennifer, how did you become first interested in elder law?
Well, elder law really found me. After law school, I had a clerkship, and elder law wasn't even a field yet. It grew out of estate planning. But there was starting to be a movement where people wanted to protect assets, and they wanted to find a way for the government to help pay for the cost of care, because the cost of care was rising so much, and people could not afford nursing home care or home care because it was just wiping out the average middle-income family. So at that time, there was really just two firms when my clerkship was ending that were practicing elder law, and I jumped on board. Like I said, it really kind of found me. I cut my teeth doing that. I started my own practice after that in Manhattan, brought it out to the island after that, and it just kind of took off, and I absolutely love it. I'm really glad that I found so early in my career my real passion, because it's just an amazing field of law. It changes all the time. You're helping people in incredible ways. You're helping multiple generations. And it's just really, it's challenging, exciting. It allows you to be passionate and compassionate. And it's an incredible journey.
We always think, Zach, of lawyers as the fighting people, and it always has to be an argument. Somebody on that side, if I do better, you do worse. But the elder law is really helping the elder people. It's like the work a doctor does, so it must be very rewarding. Very
rewarding, yes. And also very creative. And you are fighting because you're fighting for your clients. You know, there's a lot of advocacy to be had, but at the end of the day, you're helping people. And what's more rewarding than that?
And that feels really good.
Absolutely.
Makes it all worthwhile.
It definitely does, yeah.
It's also very personal, because what I'm doing, I would be doing for my parents or my grandparents. So, you know, at the end of the day, when we look at cases in the office, we analyze them. What would I do if this were my mom or dad? You know, so it keeps it very real and very personal all the time.
And tell me if I'm wrong. I'm sorry to interrupt Zach's question, but you actually save your clients a lot of money. A lot of people think, I'm going to a lawyer, it's going to cost them. But you can save them tons of money and putting it in the right direction or the right path. It helps both them and the rest of the family.
Absolutely. We're saving people tons and tons of money. So even if it may cost you a little bit, we're saving a ton of money. So it's penny wise, pound foolish not to do the planning with us.
That's a win-win.
Yes.
It is. So, Jennifer, you talked about how you got into elder care, to elder law, but how are you still with elder law? Why do you like doing it so much?
Really for all those reasons where it's creative, it's the advocacy that really drew me to law in general to begin with. It's helping families. It's the area of law where you're not fighting. It's not corporate and impersonal. It's the exact opposite of that. I like that we can help so many people, help all these different generations. You know, we're working with the kids and the parents. Sometimes we're even working with grandchildren, and we have all different, layers of people. We even keep a set of crayons and coloring books in the conference rooms for when the grandkids are in. Yeah. So it's just really nice. It's personal, like I said. Clients come back to us. The multiple generations come back to us. And like you said, Bill, saving people money, that is really important. People have worked really hard over all these years. We have a lot of clients who lived through the Depression, my grandparents included, and they had every last nickel. It is really important to see that money go to their children, their grandchildren. They don't want to see that just be frittered away. They want to get the care they need, as they should, but they really scrimped and saved and worked hard for every single nickel. So if there's a way to make that money work for them, get the care they need, and still leave a legacy, that's what we should all be doing. And we should all be working as a community to help each other get there. And that's part of what my job is as an elder law attorney.
All the grandchildren included, you know. That's the thing,
Okay,
too.
Zach, I hear what you're saying.
Zach wants to come in and play with the coloring book.
That's the thing. And also, do you tell the grandchildren about elder law? Do you kind of want to get them into it?
That's up to each family member. That is not my job.
Yeah.
How much you know about your parents or grandparents' assets is up to your parents and grandparents.
Well, they don't tell me that stuff, unfortunately.
Might be a reason for that.
I'll tell you more about Zach after the show. We know a lot of bad things about him. Now, Jennifer, your firm is Genser, DeBow, Genser, and Cona. Obviously, that's you. Tell us about it. When was it founded, and how big is it?
So I brought the elder law practice into the firm about 20 years ago. I started it in the city at that time. It was just me as a solo practitioner. Then I brought it out to Long Island about a year later. We're a 35 people firm now.
That's quite big for a Long Island firm.
Yeah, we're one of the.
Must be a lot of old people running around.
There's a lot of old people running around.
Yeah.
Yep. And there's a lot of people who need help.
That's right.
And we're there to help
and
them.
you're there.
That's
Yep.
great. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're one of the largest. We have a great reputation. You know, we do right by all of our clients. And really, it's just born, I think, out of, like I said before, the philosophy of, if this were my parent, what would I do? That's just a very basic principle, but that's what guides us. And that's sort of our, guiding principle and guiding star of how we analyze every single case and how you do the right thing by everyone.
Jennifer, before we go to Zach's next question, we've been mentioning your firm, Genser, DeBow, Genser, and Cona. Where are you located? And if someone is hearing this and say, oh, I've got to talk to Jennifer about my mother, my aunt, my father, how do they get in touch?
We're in Melville. We're at 225 Broad Hollow Road, which is the 110 corridor. You can reach us at 631-390-5000. You can also go to our website, which is genserlaw.com, GENSERLAW.com. And you can also email us at elder@genserlaw.com.
And Jennifer's name is Cona, Cona, so if you're looking her up, you could find her. And as she said, Melville is perfect. If you're in Nassau, Suffolk, Queens, easy to get there. You're kind of right in the middle, so perfectly located.
Indeed. Thank
you. There you go. Zach?
So, Jennifer, what are some of the common pitfalls to avoid when planning one's future? So, I'm a young person, so I don't really need to worry about that. But let's say 20 years into the future, what do I have to avoid?
There's really a couple pitfalls, really two major ones. One is not taking action. Some people will put their head in the sand. They get overwhelmed. There's a lot of misinformation out there. We were talking a little bit before we went on air about misconceptions. What's the look back? Is it 3 years? Is it 5 years? What can I do? What can I not do? And the other thing is that people will get information either online or from people in positions where you think they should really know what they're talking about, which could be, let's say, social workers or discharge planners in hospitals, things like that, where you would think they for sure would know the rules, as to what you can do if you're going to, from a hospital to rehab, let's say, and they're talking to you about Medicare and Medicaid issues. So people get a lot of misinformation, and then they start to shut down because it's just too much coming in, and they don't know what to do, and they don't know what's going to happen next. And so they'll tend to not take action. That is the worst thing you can do. You have to plan ahead. You want to plan ahead to protect assets. So not doing anything is the worst. Not getting the proper advice is the other pitfall. So again, because of the misinformation, you have to get proper advice. What people need to know is that it's not one size fits all when it comes to elder law. The rules are very different depending on the kind of care you need and even the kind of family you have. So if you or your loved one need care at home, your rules are going to be different than if you need care in a nursing home. So, for example, in the home care situation, there is no look back. You can transfer assets and someone can get Medicaid care at home right away. Not so with a nursing home. With nursing home care, you have the whole 5-year look back when it comes to transferring assets. If you have a spouse, you can transfer assets, and the spouse in need of care can get Medicaid benefits anywhere, at home or in a nursing home, right away by using spousal refusal. So those are 3 different very common scenarios, completely different rules. But if you don't realize that, and you talk to your neighbor and you say, oh, well, my neighbor, had to wait 5 years, and then my friend down the road got Medicaid right away, you don't necessarily realize that their situation is different. So that's the kind of misinformation and not realizing that it's not one size fits all that trips people up. So you have to get proper advice. You have to go to an elder law attorney. You can't go to an estate planning attorney. You can't go to the person who did your closing or someone who drafted your will that doesn't specialize in this. So the proper advice is really, really key.
And you were saying before to us, before the show, there are nuances, meaning there's local law, state law, federal law that you have to know. So to your point, unless you keep up on this every day, as your firm does, you really could get in some trouble. And I remember a few years ago talking to someone, he was an attorney, and one of his clients didn't get the right instructions from somebody. The family home of $725,000 was lost because of improper paperwork being done, and it could have been saved. So we're talking what on Long Island isn't a huge price for a home. So it's more or less the average, 700 or so. And it could have been saved had the right work been done and had it been set up properly. And for trying to save pennies, they lost $750,000. So
yes.
That's where your firm can come in, save people a lot of money. And if not, you'll give them the advice and tell them, no, go elsewhere. You have nothing to save, I guess.
Yes, absolutely. And that does happen all the time. I just had this happen this week where a family came in and they had assets in a trust, and they assumed that, and it was a house worth close to $1 million, and they assumed that the clock had run, the 5-year look back, because they had it in a trust. Turns out the trust was revocable. That does not protect assets. And I had to be the bearer of bad news, which happens an awful lot of the time, that a revocable trust does not protect assets. So while they thought it was there, protected, clock was running, etc., it didn't do a single thing to protect that house.
So what's the other type of trust?
Irrevocable.
2 letters, IR to revocable. Those 2 letters, all their assets were unprotected because they had a revocable trust rather than an irrevocable trust.
And they simply said...
You're making me nervous now.
I know. Well, they said, I didn't realize that. Why would we do this trust? Why did the attorney not explain it? And, of course, I can't answer that. I wasn't that attorney, and I don't know why they would have done that. But they just didn't know. They weren't informed. And they literally just had it. They thought they were sort of one and done and never thought about it again until they came to me for other reasons and were shocked to learn that they really didn't accomplish at all what they thought they did. And I have to tell you, that happens all the time. And we are the bearer of that bad news all the time. And they have to start over. And now there is a more emergent medical need. And we don't know if we can get through 5 years. We have to start all over again. And that happens all the time.
Wow. And just a side question. Obviously, of the 2 of us, Zach is about 18, 20 years old.
19.
I'm a lot older. I got him by about 50 years. So typically when someone comes to see you, is it the Zach part of the family, the younger one, bringing me, the old guy, in for the planning? Or is it me, the old guy, saying, I want to set up planning so if Zach were my son, things could be taken care of for him? Who kind of is your client?
It really varies. It's a lot of clients are people looking to retire, so it could be, mid-60s. There are younger people that come to us. Let's say they've just had a child and they're looking to do their estate planning. They want to set up wills because they have a new baby and they want to name guardian for minor children. Or it could be the baby boomers coming in with their parents, looking to make sure parents' assets are protected. Maybe they're in their 50s, parents are in 80s, things like that. So it really runs that whole range of people. And even asset-wise, it could run the range from middle-income people to people with, millions and millions of dollars. So elder law and estate planning really covers the whole range of ages and the whole range of asset levels.
You make it sound so interesting. I think we all want to get a book on it and read more now and talk to you and find out and maybe go to one of your seminars.
We actually have a great guidebook. It's called Your Guide to Elder Law and Estate Planning.
I didn't know
It
that,
covers
so this
all
is
of
not
these topics.
free publicity. So,
But you can call the office and get it. Call us at 631-390-5000 and ask for the Elder Law Guide.
we like that better than cheeseburgers. And I told you
Yeah,
we'd get
that's great.
cheeseburgers into this.
I'm going to buy it quickly.
There we go. You don't have to buy it. It's free, right?
It's free,
It's
absolutely.
free?
Yep.
Oh, my
that's
goodness.
even better.
That's
even
great.
better.
And actually, you can download it from our website as well.
Oh my God.
That really, and
That's
I think for
on the website.
everybody.
Fantastic. I like that.
There's so much with elder law that we really don't know about. We're learning a little bit from you, but we're only going to scratch the surface. Jennifer, at this point in the show, we have to take a brief break from my hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College, WHPC 90.3. Our guest today is Jennifer Cona, managing partner of Genser, DeBow, Genser, and Cona. Stay with us. We'll be right back with Jennifer on the second half of My Hometown.
Hi. I found a toy dinosaur over on the playground by Smith Street. It had this phone number on it, and, well, I just wanted to make sure the dinosaur made it back to its little owner.
Yeah, hi. I think I found your kid's stuffed animal near the swing set. Just want to call. I'm sure she misses it.
I know my son gets super attached to the smallest things, even a fire truck, and I'd be happy to drop it off. The toy was a little muddy, so I cleaned it up, and it's good to go whenever you're around.
When I found the little sippy cup, I just had to give you a call. It's for a kid, you know?
We'd do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 6 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger and give all of our kids the meals they need to grow. Learn how at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
My Hometown is made possible by Anton Media Group. For more of your local community news, you may visit antonmediagroup.com. If you have a story to share or want information about subscriptions, you may call 516-747-8282.
WHPC. And now we return to My Hometown.
We're back on My Hometown. I'm your host, Bill Horan, along with Nassau Community College student Zach Turkel. Our special guest today is Jennifer Cona, managing partner at Genser, DeBow, Genser, and Cona. Zach, I think you had a question?
I did. So, Jennifer, what is the best way to protect one's residence and other key assets?
The best way really is to put the real property, your residence, into a trust. That starts that 5-year clock we were talking about before. And really, you don't feel a difference. It's not like you're putting a bank account or, you're walking around cash into a trust. So most people will start with that. And like we were saying before, let's say you come to do planning when you're in your 50s or 60s, when you're looking at retirement maybe, people will start by putting the house in the trust. That gets that clock running. That's usually the best place to start. You want to name a trustee, someone that you trust that's going to, be your valued person that can handle finances. The number one question that people ask is, well, what happens if I want to sell my house? You can still sell the house. The trust will hold that asset. So if it's your, $500,000 house in Port Washington, let's say, and you want to downsize and move somewhere else that's smaller, more affordable, what have you, the trust will hold that $500,000. If you then rent something, now the trust will hold the sale proceeds, the cash. If you buy something smaller, it will hold the new property and the balance of the cash. But that asset, that value is always protected once it's in the trust. So your hands are not tied. You can move. You can do whatever you want. Your trustee would go to the closing with you because that person's now involved along with you. But it's not like you're stuck there. It's not like you can never have investable assets or move or do those kinds of things. But you're protecting that whole value. So that's why that works for most people. That's why it's a place to start. And then you can later say, if you want to start becoming more conservative and look to protect other assets, take bank accounts or mutual funds or, other monies and start protecting those as well. But that is where most people start.
Jennifer, I'm hearing that, and am I missing something? And this usually falls under my category. Is that almost a no-brainer?
It is a no-brainer.
See, I told you.
Yeah.
I can spot
You're a
those
quick
no-brainers.
study,
I'm a
Bill.
quick study because I'm the one without the brains.
Right.
But really,
So am I.
for people listening today, if you just heard that, you can protect an asset by you're really just changing the legal entity that holds it. It's not like going to the dentist. You're not going to lose a tooth or you go have an operation or something. You're just going to change it from in their name to something called a trust. Nobody else knows about it, sees it. It doesn't change anything else in the world. Am I right?
That's right. That's right.
But because it's in a trust rather than my individual name, it's, in quote, protected.
Right.
So that
Once
$500,000
5 years
million
passes.
5 years.
Yes.
But I mean, for all of us, that's like, why not?
Right.
I can't think of a reason why you wouldn't do it as you get older.
Right. And one other point is that you can keep a life estate so that you can keep your exemptions. So if you have STAR or you have a veterans exemption on your property, all that can stay the same as well.
I bet a lot of people, I bet that takes them by surprise just realizing that it's not at all painful. So that's a great point. Thank you for making it. What are the other must-have legal documents that really basically every person should have in place? Even we'll start out with the minimum and work their way up.
So everyone should have what's called advance directives. That's a power of attorney, a healthcare proxy, and a living will. So the power of attorney, you appoint someone to make financial decisions for you if you can't. It could be dealing with banks, real estate, talking to Social Security, your pension company. The healthcare proxy, you appoint someone to make healthcare decisions for you if you can't, communicate with doctors. And the living will is where you set forth what your wishes are as to end-of-life care. If you need, if machines are keeping you alive, if it's an end-of-life situation, you say what your wishes are now, and you set it forth in black and white so your family members don't have to do that for you. It's really important that you're making your wishes and not putting that decision-making burden on other people. And then your healthcare agent can communicate that for you with the doctors. So those are the 3 advance directives. And you should also be doing a last will and testament, and like we said before, doing that asset protection trust. So those are really the documents that everyone should have. Usually when you're looking at retirement age, but in most people's case, they'll have a will sooner, such as when they have children. And really, you know, for kids like you, Zach, once you're 18, you should have a healthcare proxy, you know, so that you have someone who can jump in and make healthcare decisions for you. Once you go to college, you should have a healthcare proxy because, you know, your parents, for example, won't know if there's things going on with you. They won't have access to information. So we try to get that word out to people.
There's a lot of key information as well. So many of us, and we think we're smart on Long Island. We're holding high positions. We're doctors, nurses, teachers, etc. But no, you have a specialized field. And I'll tell our audience, Jennifer's also just a nice person to talk to. She's not intimidating. You're going to feel comfortable with her. It's like having a really good teacher friend that's going to explain this to you and put you in the right boat and save you lots and lots of money. So if they want to save money, tell us where they go.
You can call me at 631-390-5000.
And Jennifer's name is Jennifer Cona, C-O-N-A, part of the firm of?
Genser, Dubow, Genser, and Cona in Melville.
And where are they located?
We're in Melville, Bill.
All right. Good.
Melville.
No, seriously, because I want people to know, because as you're saying this, it's waking up, and I'm sure anybody listening is, oh my God, that pertains to us, or we could put those assets aside. And it's so easy to do. And one hospital bill that's out of line, or losing the value of that house that people work so hard for, or maybe their parents left it to them, kept it in the family. Maybe they have no will or a will that names their former wife or husband, and that's something they probably certainly wouldn't want if it's a former wife or husband. So get that person out of the picture. Really a lot of things to wake up about, and I'm sure you're going to save a lot. I was in the hospital for a minor operation, less than half a day. I got a bill for over $50,000. It was paid by the insurance company, but that was half a day in the hospital. Not even that. So that's the kind of course we're looking at, and you can save people a lot with that. Yeah,
people are very surprised. I will, just for your listeners who may not realize, the average cost in a nursing home is $15,000 a month right now. And sometimes people will say, you mean a year? No, that's a month. $15,000 a month. So, an average family can be wiped out of liquid assets very, very quickly.
I'm doing the math quickly. That's $180,000 a year. So if someone has a house, that's about 3 years of the house.
Yeah. So it goes quickly. So for people who haven't planned ahead, they're looking at that dissipation of assets. And if you're married, what is your spouse going to do? So if you're burning through this money without a plan, that's a real problem.
We think the insurance is going to cover everything, but not when you're talking numbers like that.
So what happens with insurance, and people will say this too, I have Medicare. Well, Medicare is for acute care needs. So that covers the hospital, and that will cover some days of rehab. People think the 20 days, some people will get up to 100, but then that's it, because that's the acute care. Medicaid and your other insurance do not cover, your insurance does not cover the long-term need. Medicaid is your long-term provider. So that's what the nursing home and the home care need is. Those are long-term needs, right? That is not what Medicare covers. Okay, because that's not acute any longer.
I think you're going to have a line outside your office just where people say, just explain this. But the good thing that I noticed is you actually sponsor an annual caregivers conference.
Yes.
Now, tell us a little bit about that.
So that is a conference that we do every year that is designed to give people resources and information on topical issues like some of this that we're talking about, but also things beyond the law, because we take a holistic approach to elder law. We want people to know about caregiving issues, issues about aging on Long Island. We talk about taking care of yourself if you're a caregiver. We did a session on mediation and talking with parents about difficult topics, bringing families together, demystifying Medicaid, innovative resources for quality caregiving, just things like that people need to know about that they're not necessarily getting other places. And we bring in industry professionals to provide information. It could be things on reverse mortgages, long-term care insurance, assisted living, things that just come up for people. We bring it all in one room to provide resources and information to our folks in the community, and it's provided for free.
I was going to say, I think I saw the word free before that. We love the word free. Zach and I, anything free, we line up for anything that says free.
Yeah, Jennifer, this is one that really stands out to me, and it interests me. The firm also has its own nonprofit, Senior Dreams Come True, that grants wishes for low-income seniors on Long Island. How long has this been in existence, and how many seniors have you helped over the years?
We started that in 2010. We've helped a lot of seniors. We grant wishes on a revolving basis. So, how many seniors we help varies throughout the year. And basically, we're just looking to provide small wishes because the government can't help, individuals on this kind of one-off basis. So we'll grant wishes for something very simple to granting a lifelong dream for someone. So we've done things like car repair, dental work. We built a wheelchair ramp for someone who otherwise was going to have to go to a nursing home. We flew a woman to Florida who had never seen a newborn granddaughter. She didn't have a cell phone or a computer, so she didn't even have a picture of her granddaughter. So
I knew you were a nice person. I could tell that right from, couldn't you?
Yeah, so did I. Yeah.
So it's really simple things like that, but it makes a huge difference in that person's life. Someone else got hearing aids, so it's really wonderful things. It makes us feel great. It's great for them.
Jennifer, all this stuff, and it really does hit me as so interesting, and really for people on Long Island as our community is getting older, please tell us once again before we wrap up, tell us how we can get in touch, the website, and how we can get in touch with your firm and the address.
So our website is genserlaw.com, GENSERLAW.com, and our phone number is 631-390-5000, and you can get our free elder law guidebook by going to either the website and downloading it or call us and request a copy.
It's free.
And it's free, and it's packed with information about these things we talked about today.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. And you're located in Melville, so people can get in touch. And Jennifer's last name is spelled Cona, C-O-N-A. We'd like to thank our special guest, Jennifer Cona, managing partner at Genser, DuBois, Genser & Cona. For additional information, you can call 631-390-5000 or visit genserlaw.com. I'm Bill Horan, along with Nassau Community College student Zach Trickel. Thanks for listening to My Hometown.
We'd like to get your feedback on My Hometown. Send your comments to WHPC@ncc.edu. My Hometown is produced by Jim Green, executive producer. Nassau Community College, where success starts and continues. Till next time, this is Bill St. James. And remember, there's no town like your hometown.